Here he is, ESPN's Dick Vitale with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team, brought to you by McLean Food Service every Monday and Thursday throughout the tournament. This is our last Thursday. And Dickie V, all this week, we've been talking about the Indiana state law, the religious freedom law in Indiana. So let's just lead with that. Has the NCAA done enough? Have they gotten out in front of this as much as they're obligated to?
Well, I think obviously it's a law that's absurd. I put it up on Twitter. I think it's archaic to believe something like that exists in this era, in this time. It's sad in a way, really sad. And the NCAA, I believe, is making a lot of noise. They created the impact, and now they got to go one step further. I mean, the women's tournament's there next year. I would take that tournament out of here unless they change that law. I think you're going to see a change. I think there's so much a reaction by so many, it can't possibly survive.
Dickie V, now we get to have a little fun. Let's get to the court. The first game on Saturday, Michigan State and Duke. I saw you tweet about the fact that even though Duke beat Michigan State 81-71 in November, that game has nothing to do with this game that we're going to see Saturday.
No, obviously, that's months ago. You had a feeling-out process. It was early in the season, and both clubs are really changed drastically. They're much better, both of them, right now than they were at that time. I think a big decision right now for the Spartans, I just put it up on Twitter, I think the big decision is what do they do and how to play Okafor. Do they decide to double him up? Do they decide to play him one-on-one and try to shut off the perimeter players like Notre Dame did when they beat Duke? I would go that route. I would basically try to lock up the guards. I think when you look at Cook and certainly Tyus Jones, they can shoot the three. You factor in Matt Jones now, who's really elevated his game shooting the three. And Winslow is like one of those X factors. He's a star, man. He plays in the shadow of Okafor, but he's been absolutely brilliant lately in the tournament.
And Justice Winslow, one of those guys that we asked you a few weeks ago about the faces that could take over the tournament. He's in the running for that now with the ankle and still playing as well as he has been.
Well, he's so explosive, Armen. He really gets to the basket quick. He's got the great body. He can also make the three. He's a very dangerous offensive player, and he's a very vital part of the success that Duke has had.
Coach K has an 8-1 record against Coach Izzo. Does that have again? Do we just throw that away when we get into this one?
Levack, we do. We absolutely throw that away. I'm going to tell you why. I would guarantee, and I haven't seen, this is a guess on my part, that I firmly believe that in all those games he was probably the favorite. I think in many of those cases Duke was the favorite in that situation. It wasn't like they go in there with a 50-50 shot. Duke was a preeminent team when they played them, and they did what they were supposed to do, win. But it's a new ball game. It's all a brand new game. You tip it off, and we've seen a lot of shocks. Last year we saw shock City when Connecticut went in as a 7 seed and nobody thought they had a shot with Florida, the Gators. I didn't think so. Gators were coming in right in high with an incredible win streak. You would have thought revenge. They had lost to them earlier in the year, that they would have won that game, but it wasn't to be had because Napier was brilliant. Right now Trice has been brilliant for Michigan State. The last 15 games he's averaging 18.3. He's going to have a monster night making threes. He's going to have to get his people involved like Valentine and Dawson, and he's going to really have a special game for them to be able to offset the power of Duke. Duke's going to score. They got a very good offensive team, and they got to really do a great job, Michigan State, trying to contain that perimeter game.
Dick Vitale with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. Thanks to McLean Food Service. Dickie V, you're calling this game for ESPN International. You've been doing this for the last 3 years. What's it like to be on the court calling a Final Four game?
Well, it's a big thrill just to be able to sit there. Dan Schumann and I will have a blast. Great seats, get to see a great game, be part of it, and you get paid for it. I mean, does it get better than that? You get paid for it on top of it. And then do the championship game on Monday. Then I'm coming back on Tuesday. We're heading right to the final game of the women's tournament up in Tampa where I live. Going to go down there and just be a fan, sit in the stands. I hope I have good seats. ESPN sent me seats. I hope I got good seats.
Dickie V, what are you thinking? Is it going to be a Duke kind of day, or does Michigan State pull the upset?
I think Duke's going to win the basketball game. I really do, and I think it's going to be ultimately in the next game. We got Kentucky, Wisconsin, obviously, and that matchup is a Goliath matchup. I would have liked to see us reseed the teams when we enter the Final Four, and would have maybe a Kentucky, Wisconsin right now, to me, has been absolutely brilliant, and that Wisconsin team is just playing sensational basketball. They have an inside-outside combo, and the two guys that are really fantastic, Kaminsky and Decker.
So it sounds like Dick Vitale, Armen, and Levack, 104.5 the team. It sounds like if there is an upset to happen this weekend, you're leaning towards Wisconsin, Kentucky upset more than the latter.
Yeah, I am. I really think Wisconsin's got a better chance than Michigan State does against Duke. I think right now I wouldn't call it a major upset. The only reason it's called an upset with Wisconsin would be the fact that Kentucky's riding 38 and zip. I mean, these kids are trying for perfection. What an incredible year they've had, and I don't want to hear people scream and yell what a disappointment if they were to lose in the tournament. I mean, it's just been a fantastic ride, and what they've done to be able to sustain that, take everybody's best hit, and man, they are going to get a best hit. I firmly believe they're going to earn a national title because my gut feeling tells me they got to beat Wisconsin and they got to beat Duke, and you got to do that in about a 72-hour period, man. That is earning a national championship.
So, Dickie V, while you're calling the finals Monday night, April 6th, while you're on the court for ESPN International, you think it's going to be Kentucky Duke?
I really do, Levack. I think Kentucky Duke, and that's a dream matchup for people in television, obviously. Two Goliath programs, two programs people either love them or hate them. If you're from Kentucky, obviously, Big Blue Nation, they love them. But across the nation, there's a lot of hate. Why? Because success. The same with Duke. What is there to hate about Duke? Yeah, people hate Duke. They scream and yell on Twitter things about Krzyzewski, etc. But it's all because of one thing: a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy, because they've been so successful. And these teams have really got great kids. I've gotten a chance to know a lot of these kids, good people. The coaches have done a great job making them understand that you play for the jersey that you're wearing. You play for the name on the front of that jersey. And they have done that exceptionally well to put themselves in what I think is going to be one great Final Four.
Dick Vitale, thanks to McLean Food Service. Dickie V, the New York Knicks, we're hoping they have the first pick in the NBA draft. And the talk this week has been Karl Anthony Towns and how well he's played. And Chad Ford's big board, he has bumped over Okafor. If you have the first pick, you like Towns or Okafor to build your franchise around?
Well, both guys, how can you go wrong? They're two guys with great upside. I would go Okafor. There's something about his game that I feel is going to get better and better and better. He has great footwork, his drop steps inside, his power, his strength. And you can say a lot of that about Karl Anthony as well. But if you're asking me, my choice, and it would be a tough choice to make, but it's like, having Mantle Mace. Who do you want? I mean, great players. Can't go wrong. I think, but my choice would be Okafor.
Armen and Levack, 104.5 the team with Dick Vitale. Dickie V, you mentioned you're going to be at the women's game next week. Gino Auriemma spoke to the media within the last 24 hours, and he said, in regards to the men's college basketball game, he said, quote, "I think it's a joke." And he went on to say there's only 10 teams in the top 25 that play the kind of basketball that you like to watch. Every coach will tell you there's 90 million reasons for it. Bottom line, nobody can score. Your reaction to Gino Auriemma being very critical on the men's game?
I love Gino. I love a lot about Gino. Gino's a big-time winner, and he's done a phenomenal job with Connecticut. I obviously don't agree with him. I don't think it's a joke at all. Was the Kentucky game with Notre Dame a joke? I mean, come on now. I don't buy it at all. I don't understand Gino's screaming and yelling about that. I really don't. I think what's a joke, you want to know the truth and tough to watch, and it's not his fault. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job to put his program into that position, but it's tough to watch Connecticut play because every game they're up 30-40 except for the last game. I mean, it's 40-point blowouts one after another. Is that fun to watch? I don't think so. It's fun for him. It's fun for the Huskies. It's fun for all their fans, and that I can respect and admire that he's done such a great job. For him to say our game is a joke, I think it's sad. He's a Hall of Famer. I respect him. I admire him. What he's done has been unreal, but I think that's a cheap shot. I really do, and I just know it's not called for. Not called for.
Dickie V, speaking of respect and admiration, we have that for you. Everything you do to help out the V Foundation, to help stamp out childhood cancer. How can we help you do that?
Well, you can tell people to go to my website, dickvitaleonline.com, and get a copy of my new book, It's Awesome Baby. And every dollar from that book is going to go toward my goal of raising $2 million by May 15th for pediatric cancer. Also, people can help by, when they go to my website, dickvitaleonline.com, you'll see a beautiful white convertible there, Mercedes, a Mercedes convertible. For $100, you can buy a chance on the Mercedes, and we're only selling 1,500. And we believe there's only a couple of hundred left right now, so I would suggest people get there right away if they want a chance. They don't have to be present to be called the name on May 15th for the Mercedes. It's a Mercedes, man, $100. You help kids battling cancer, but you also give yourself a chance to win an incredible prize, and there's only 1,500 chances, so your chances are not all that bad. So you can do that. Tonight I will be heading over to India. I have a slam dunk cancer event I'm speaking at. The band Perry's going to play at it. It's going to be a phenomenal event. I am the host and the speaker, and it's to raise money for the V Foundation. The first thing I will do when I arrive in Indy tonight is they've arranged for me to come over to Riley's Children's Hospital, where I'm bringing a bunch of basketballs and books for a bunch of youngsters that I'm going to meet with who are battling cancer. So I'm going to try all I can, man. I want to give back. I want to give my best, but I need help. So people, please go to dickvitaleonline.com. The parents I'll visit with today at Riley Children's Hospital, they're not thinking about basketball. They sit at the child's bed from 7 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, dreaming and hoping for a miracle to save their child.
Dick Vitale, thanks so much for your efforts. We just love what you do, and we respect and support what you do. Dickie V, baby, you're headed to Indianapolis for the Final Four. We'll be checking up with you on Twitter at Dickie V. We can't wait. On Monday, we will be previewing the national championship game, and then you'll be joining us Tuesday to wrap it all up. Dick Vitale, we're excited, man. Thanks for joining us every week.
I'm excited too, man. It should be a great time. Tell my guy Gino, take it easy, huh? He's a paisan. He should be ripping us in basketball. We don't rip him. Come on now, Gino. You know better than that.
Dickie V, we'll talk to you Monday. Have a safe flight.
Take care, buddy.